I cannot hear you.
Live streaming is on.
No.
Yeah, you're still muted. Now
What's going on?
I can hear it.
There you
Now it
are.
works.
Yeah? Okay, weird. Now it says failed to access your microphone. Well, all right. We're live anyway.
We can hear you.
We lost Steve.
Yeah, Steve, it's not going so good today.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right. So week 2 of the peer group, the first peer group. Justin and Emmy were talking about last time if we should name this peer group. I thought that was actually a good idea because we're calling it Cohort1 Peer Group 1. Kind of a terrible name. I call it that anyway. So why don't we start off with that? Any ideas for your peer group name?
Dragon, fairy, princesses.
Dragon Fairy Balls?
No.
Well, something which makes a little bit of sense, maybe, because I think the point of if we name it, the only reason to name it really is for everyone else in the world, not for you guys, right? Like you'll know, but because what is this this peer group about? I guess is the question, right? Like, how would we talk to someone else about this?
Team Interstellar, so we can have our ideas reach the stars.
Also, a little bit more high level than I was thinking, maybe.
What were you thinking, Sven?
I really wasn't. But like, I mean, this isn't a specific topic cohort, right? But like, you could imagine there is maybe a e-commerce cohort. Sorry, not cohort, peer group, or maybe like indie project, or like, I guess ask yourselves, what are you trying to accomplish, right? I think that's, and then maybe we kind of find a common thread which actually everyone is trying to accomplish.
I mean,
Or we could just mash all our names together.
Yeah. I mean, I joined this peer group because I have set a deadline for myself. I want to be live by the end of April, actually. So I hope that this peer group helps me with my goal there. But yeah, I don't know for you guys. I mean, I saw your goals. I read through them, but I don't know. I cannot make let's say a common name out of it.
Well, we're all trying to get shit done, so team get shit done.
Why? That sounds good. Maybe.
GSD.
Yeah, that's pretty good. TSG.
That matches what I want to get out of here, right? Yeah, just get it done and out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't oppose to GSD.
So I think, funny enough, isn't GSD an actual methodology? Getting stuff done, I think it's called.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Or getting things.
German
getting things
Shepherd
done,
dog.
Oh yeah, GTD. Yeah, GTD. You're right. Okay, that's fun enough, I think. All right, GSD it is. Steve, we don't care about your opinion, apparently. You stepped away at the wrong moment.
He's shouting from the bathroom.
No.
He's getting shit done right now.
Oh no. We're live, Justin.
Taking it too literal. All right. Starting off with class. I think let's start with Piping and Timo, right? You guys all had your commitments from last week, and we'll go over those. But since Timo is new to the group, let's have him kind of think through or talk us through what he is committing to, if that sounds like a good use of time.
Yeah, I can do that. Do you want to share some slides, or should I do it, or should we not share anything? Just talk. You can share your
your Excel sheet just to have some visual representation. I think that helps.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very fancy. I just made it in a couple of minutes, but
it's fine.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me share real quick. All right. So, okay, here I have my peer group commitments up. I asked Sven if there would be like some sort of slides you guys are using, but apparently not. So I'm, as you guys might know, I was a participant of Cohort 2, and I was working on a project called Plot Maniac, which is a platform basically for authors and storytellers to manage their complex stories and write it down, outline their plots and stuff like that. And I figured I made very good progress throughout Cohort 2. So now I would like to continue on the project, of course, and this time with the goal being live by the end of April. And I think that's a good goal to have because I know otherwise I will never get it done, I think. So, and I hope this peer group can help me with that. And I just thought now I'll write down my goals for next week because all of you guys did the same thing. And yeah, so I would like to make a design review with my design guy, basically, because I had reworked over the last couple of weeks. I had reworked the UX of the platform I'm working on right now. It was a little bit, how can I say, difficult to use. And now I think I made it easier, but I just want to get feedback from him and maybe change some more things. And then I have a tool. It's called Template Builder, where people can define their plot box templates, basically, which is like an outline for your characters or locations and stuff like that. What's important for you as a writer, and these are kind of standalone templates right now. So I can add some text. I can add some, I don't know, maybe a drop down and stuff like that. But I cannot connect items with each other. And in the last demo, in our concluding demo of Cohort 2, I figured it would be easier to establish a link between them. So I want to do that. And then I figured, because we just implemented our text editor and tested it, of course, with different data sets, and we used the data file, like pure text of like 2 megabytes, and the saving of those data was not really efficient. So I'm trying to rework this strategy as well. And then I start with my user profile section, because that's something I don't have yet. So users cannot change their username, they cannot change their password and things like that. And I figured that might be useful as well before being live. So yeah, that's my goal for this week. I think I can get it done, and I'm happy to share with you the results then next week. You guys have any questions? Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but I most of the things I have already in place, so it should be just tweaking things that a little bit, but I'm confident I can do it. If not, I'll just sleep a little bit less, I hope. But yeah.
Is it just like a word processor? Does it like help you out with anything other than like formatting?
If you guys want, I can share a demo real quick.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just, okay. Luckily it's still running. Okay, this is, we close that. So so yeah, basically that's the platform I'm having right now. Okay. And in the beginning, it's like the user should start, of course. I mean, the whole platform is about creating stories. Mm-hmm. And what the user should do is, like, for example, he creates a new story here. Here I have a story named test, and I have like, some text in here, which is not very important right now. Yeah. But this should be the editor, but where the user is currently doing his things. Okay, but it's this is still under development, so it's not finished yet, and I can show you a few features related to that later a little bit. But the most important things comes here with these with the what I call plot box, basically, is where you have like all of your, let's say, plot elements that you want in a story. Let's go with
cool.
characters, for example. So I have a dummy character called Santa here, but if I want to edit him, for example, I see, I don't know, first name, last name, age, role, maybe a role in my book. He's a protagonist, antagonist, and so on. I can share a little bit a few notes. I can make give him a physical appearance. It does not have like very much data in here yet, but I mean, that's totally up to the writer later, because they can define so-called templates. Here, for example, I started a Santa guy. I started it from a human template, but if I want to, for example, make a new template, I can, I don't know, let's just call it human 2, for example. It could be something else. It could be an alien, or maybe a dwarf, or an elf, or an orc, or whatever, depending on the novel you're writing. And then I'll just link it to a character, for example, and here I just make a new category, I don't know, details, and that's where basically all the things came from. I just typed in first name, and then I added a new thing, maybe this time, I don't know, example images or whatever, and I don't know, and then I give it I don't know, birthday. So should be enough for now. So now I have this template done. Of course, I can add more categories and stuff like this. But then if I go back to the characters and I want to create a new one, it shows up here as a human 2. And then when I create the character, I get all of those fields that I have just defined. So I can be very flexible with that, because many of the platforms I found online, they put you in a kind of let's say in a box. They define for you what they think is the best for your character, but you as a writer, you're the one who knows best what's your how your character should look like. So you can create these different templates. Same goes for locations, of course. You have a little other theme because I just shared that on Twitter actually, but this would be an example for like different locations with like countries, cities, and maybe houses could have a different name. And here I figured actually the connection would be good. For example, if I have the city here and I have let's say I want to define the mayor of the city, or like some maybe, I don't know, important residents or so on. I can right now just do it with the text. It would be way better if I maybe have a drop down and something like that, where I can just connect the existing character already to that, and then they have the relationship kind of already. The character, I don't know, lives in the city, or I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so this is something I want to build. Then in the future, of course, I want to make it a little bit more flexible, because some events can affect these relationships as well. A character can just travel to a city, do some things, and then go away. But throughout this event, for example, he should have a connection to that city. Or maybe he has connections to other characters, or she. Or, different things, items. Maybe a character's carrying an item with him, or he's eating some cake or whatever. And these are all things that might be important to my story, and so I wanna have a model for that. So I have like different approaches here. For example, for writing, I have like a timeline section which is completely not finished yet. This is under like heavy construction, but here I can kind of model the relationships. These are just hard-coded elements so far. That's why you didn't see them in the location section, but normally they come from there. But if I just put this here, for example, I have like, I don't know, I can establish a timeline. I have like two locations, and then I can put events here, for example. This is also still a little bit buggy, but it's
cool.
I think for now it's fine. And then you can just move them around, make them bigger and stuff like that. And this will get a lot more features later on, but I figured it's good for visualizing your let's say, relationship between items, or like time-wise relationship. And I want to have different graphs as well. For example, for like, I don't know, you can have a family tree, for example, or things like that when people met each other. So just useful, a collection of useful tools for writers to organize their, let's say, complex plot. That's
So,
what
And this would be for the writer themselves to use, right? To
yes.
keep in mind like the timeline for the characters. So it's not, there's no output for the reader, like to help the reader, keep along with what characters, who, and what relationship they have.
This this is if you use Maniac for your writing your story, you could of course think of that as like some sort of you could give the reader some export sheet, maybe make a nice PDF where they can read everything. This could be definitely a useful tool, but the first approach here is like providing this for the writer, yes, because sometimes the story gets complex real quick. I realized that when I was trying to write my own book, was writing a novel, and it was really difficult to keep track of everything, to be honest. So that's why I came up with this whole thing. And yeah, I hope
I've had the same
helps.
experience. I think I've tried to write 2 or 3 books, and I've only ever gotten 10 or 15 pages in, and then at that point it's like, okay, I try to sit down and like character map, but I don't know, it just turns into a whole jumbled mess.
Yeah, exactly. So you have all these great ideas in your mind, and you want to get them done, but organizing them is really not so easy, especially in the context of a book.
So are these methodologies for writing what you guys are referring to?
What do you mean by methodologies?
Is it a process that, let's say, novelists follow to write stories?
Yeah, there is a process to it. I'm currently working on some sort of guidelines for that as well. And a story, or at least like a good story, has like some sort of structure to it, with like some things that need to happen. For example, your character needs to have some conflict, for example, and then there will be a climax at some point, and then there's the end, and so on. Like there are several outlets to writing a story, and of course, the most important thing for a story, I would say at least, are your characters, because you really need to know them in order to write a convincing story about them or like with them. And and writers do that. Actually, there are tools online that do something similar to this, but I found them all like kind of difficult to use, and they limited my actions a little bit. Like they thought, okay, this might be the best approach to doing it, but I could not really, I don't know, find something that worked for me, and that's why I'm trying to build this. And maybe here I'm doing the same mistake. I'm not sure. I would love to get feedback from people, what they think, because I have an idea in my head right now, how they can easily model out their story, but I'm not 100% sure if it's the best for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you started the cohort, did you start this tool from scratch, or did you something? Oh,
I started from scratch.
Pretty impressive. You've done a lot.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, there was a lot of time going into it as well.
Of course, yeah, it shows. It shows. This is really like a
I have. I think I have set it up now in a way that I can easily add new things, because that was my main goal in mind. That's why I made this template builder in the first place. I mean, I could build all of these, let's say, pages by hand, but through the template builder, I got it for free basically. So it's really cool. I'm trying to get things done as quickly as possible, but also like as, let's say, as useful as possible. And so that's why I think I can be live by end of April. It will still be a very tough timeline because there's a lot of things to do. But yeah, I'm curious how it evolves until until that. It's 1.5 months.
So
cool.
what
That'd
I
be awesome.
what I told Timo before is what I think you guys can help him with over the next couple of weeks is focusing on that launch date and really looking at what he thinks needs to be done and what might actually need to be done, right? Because as the original creator, you always think you know, but for everyone external, it's like, well, no, that's like 5 times as much as you need to really go live, right?
Yeah, probably.
So
yes.
I think that could be something which we might need to, might want to look at. Maybe, you know, I don't know if this week or next week, but really kind of think through what's the roadmap to launch for you and get some feedback from those guys. You know,
It would be fantastic, really.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're in a position too, to especially like Arki said, they're having a somewhat mature product here already, and with a firm launch date in mind too, to actually you start building out sort of the 1 week goals like you have currently, and start actually building your own release plan based upon what features are total are needed and when it's applicable for them to be added, and build that out now for yourself just to make sure that you can keep yourself accountable, because I think you're at that point to where, you know, it's a pretty large scale project where it's not just, you know, 2 features left to wrap up, like in my case, where you have a lot of moving pieces, and you'd be the only one to know that. So actually just create and draft out a visual release plan that keeps you on, you know, weekly sprints of, you know, what total you need to do to launch, and then divide it upon when it's right to develop them, and then put them out into 1 week sprints until April 31st or 30th.
Yeah, that's actually a very good idea. I mean, I've just written down the things that need to be done in general, what I think, but yeah, I have not organized them in any way. I think I could squeeze that in this week as well, like outlining the let's say my plan, and then maybe I can present it to you guys if you're interested in it, and then you can give me feedback on that, like what I should cut maybe, or things like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'd
think
be
that'd be a good
interested.
idea.
Do you
let's
have
start with
anyone in
the
mind?
plot box, Timo. I think the plot box are necessary.
Sorry. Yeah. Wait. Let me go back to the call, because I want to see you guys.
I was joking, of course.
So yeah. I mean, the plot box is also like it's big. There are like a lot of features that I envision for it, but they will probably not all be necessary in the, let's say, for the very first MVP. But yeah, hopefully at some point it will be done. But if nobody uses it, then I'm not even sure if it's worth continuing with the project. I mean, in the first place, I started doing it for myself. If it helps me with my own book, it's pretty cool. But it's a lot of work for, let's say, just writing a book in general. I could maybe
I think it's
get it.
great, but like I've never personally gotten to the point where I was committed enough to want to put everything into like an app, like sitting down and typing out all of the characters and where everybody is at all the times would just make me not want to write a book at all.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
understand. For me, actually,
So
there
I would
was
need like a step before this.
Yeah, okay. I mean, for me, it was the very first thing that I did, actually, because I
Oh,
don't
yeah?
know, I couldn't imagine writing a book, just start writing without having my thoughts organized somehow. Because when you start, it's like you have a general idea, but you actually know nothing about your book. You maybe know how it will end. You know, you have an amazing plot, or depending from your viewpoint where you start from. But like, for example, I didn't know my characters. I knew maybe, okay, I need a character, and he needs to do that and that and that. But how he gets there and what makes the most sense was super difficult for me, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Well, I've never written a novel. It seems like this would be the way to where you can sit down with a base idea and then flesh it out and start building it out. Just like you said, like, you know, okay, so how does this character go to this area? And then you're like, oh, well, because I need to add in this, you know, and maybe you wouldn't get that if you were just writing, or then you'd have writer's block, you know, trying to sit there and think how to do it.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone's different. So Emmy, it sounds like you'd probably just want to start writing it and find that the answers come to you as you write. whereas then other people would be like, no, I want to actually know what the overall scheme of this is from start to finish first.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I would
Yeah.
write, but it doesn't work. So
I mean, it depends. It can work for sure. I mean, I think there it's a creative work, so there is no really a right or a wrong, I would say. So when people can get it done, then it works. I mean, they like George R. R. Martin gets it done without Plot Maniac, so and he's doing a fantastic job, I think.
Yeah, only
And
imagine what he will come up with once he has your tool.
yeah, that's true. That is true, actually.
I think that character development is huge, and you can go so deep into that.
Yeah.
And then I think if it were me writing something, I would want to be able to write something, but think of it as in scenes, not just a page, you know?
Yeah.
And like block it off like, this is the beginning of the story, and this is where we are. The darkness ensues. Scene 1,
Yeah.
you know, and then you go deeper into that, and then that's like your first page.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I mean, I
Yeah.
have a scene section, but
Yeah.
the scene section has no functionality yet. This is also a big to do for me
Yeah.
still, but it's that's what I was thinking too exactly. It's maybe it's more let's say a visual approach of
Mhm.
doing it, because I'm also usually a very visual guy. If I read a book, for example, of course in my head I think how it would look like. If I watch
Yeah.
a movie, it's easier because you see scene after scene after scene basically. But that's
Right, yeah.
basically how I picture it in my head a little bit. And
Yeah, creating like moods, I
Yeah.
think is huge, and like atmospheres.
Mm.
mhm.
I think that'd be, if you could like tap into that within like each box, and like this, what, like you can describe the scene or the first page as pictures, you know, like I don't know, like icons, you know,
Yeah.
a castle and it's dark out, and for those it would be a castle and some clouds and thunder. I don't know, some visual.
Yeah, that's actually a cool idea. I think. Yeah, that's nice. I think I'll steal that from you.
Okay, so just to give you guys kind of an idea, I think the conversation's great. What we talked about it briefly before. I think what we should do, or what I would suggest you to do, it's actually not what I think at all, is maybe having the check-in on the structure or on your commitments, right? Like just go over them, set the next week's, and then have a hot seat. Either you have a hot seat or you decide on you're going to do check-ins and talk about each one of them. But if you do that, then we need to keep kind of check on the time. Again, today is again slightly different because Timo is now new to the group. So spending more time on that totally makes sense. Get everyone familiar with the project. Just so we get to everyone, right? And everyone get a chance to go through what they are struggling with or what they want help with. There's those two options, right? Like I think either one would work. You just need to both altogether kind of commit to one, right? Either the hot seat where one project each week will be dissected together, or shorter times, but we try to get to everyone.
I like that idea too, because then you could dive in on either the topic, or if somebody wants to volunteer to have their project be discussed, or if they have a concern. But then I think it's also important, since we are making weekly commitments or to-do lists, to then provide the update before or after the meeting in Slack, just to show, you know, what we completed and then what the new criteria is for the following week.
I just think with the hot seat, like you can't plan when you're gonna have something you need or something you want to talk about. That's
Well, you should always have something which you could help.
yeah, I know, but I don't want to just like sit and have to come up with something to talk about because it's my week, you know. Whereas
right,
there could be a day where I'm really excited because the hundreds retweeted my tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But that's something you want to share. That's not necessarily something you want to work through with the others, right? Like where it this could be, if it's the hot seat topic, then you're right. You will have a schedule, which, or at least I suggest to have a schedule, because if there's none, then we just kind of get together. So who wants to do it this week? And then, you kind of risk that someone just never is in the hot seat, right? Just by the nature of they might be more introverted, the others more extroverted. But like, generally speaking, I think at any given point in any project or company, there is something which needs help. Sometimes you might not see that so easily, right? But I think that's fine too, right? Like, let's do just a simple vote, right? Like, if you prefer the hot seat, or let's do, I guess, more play it by the ear, where we plan to get to everyone's update and then a shorter time per project, which we talk about. Who's for the hot seat? Raise your hand. Who's for the other one?
Yeah.
No.
I can tell you my hesitation is that for the hot seat you need to prepare, right? And that probably takes some extra time. That's the only reason. But I do like the idea of being on the spot to just discuss more in depth about what you're doing. I think that's also very valuable.
Yeah, that's fine. No need to justify it at all, right? Like, you all want the other. That's fine.
No, but I just wanted to say that I also see the benefit of the hot seat. So maybe, I don't know, if we could somehow, if whoever wants to volunteer for a hot seat, maybe let's accommodate that. I don't know, whenever it happens.
Right. More like
or just organic conversation that comes up, or just like when we ended the call early last time, or the live stream, we ended up having a good conversation for another 20 minutes, and that just came up organically. Or if somebody just wants to volunteer and say, hey, I really need some help on this, could we, all work through it and talk through it, and that might end up being the full hour. So I think,
right, yeah, but with that, we need to be careful. That, because you don't want to then have someone not go who is actually excited about sharing something, right? That's the danger I was kind of trying to circumvent, to just committing to one structure, because you do want to have a common expectation that the first one who is talking, now we're diving into that topic, and someone is just kind of like, all right, letting it fly, even though they really wanted to get to something.
Could we do half and half?
Exactly, because my plan for this meeting, sorry, Emmy.
No, you're fine.
I was thinking, I mean, in general, I like this hot seat idea, but I'm just afraid that, like, I mean, I can talk like 24/7 about this project, but I'm just afraid that your projects, they come in short. Then, if you, for example, talk about mine or whatever, or if you talk about someone else's project, then like other projects come short. But I like the idea of maybe combining the two things, and I don't know how your time commitment is each week, but maybe we could just have if it's necessary, have a, let's say, separate hot seat session or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, or just, I think, well, you all wanted to get to everything, right? So let's just do that every week from now on. We'll go over everyone's last commitment, set the new commitment, talk about that for a minute or two, and then the rest of the time, which hopefully at that time, it shouldn't be more than 5 minutes each. That's half the hour, right, at the most. And we still have a half hour, which we can then either use for a hot seat or just organically talk about everything else again. And I think someone said it, I don't remember now. If you want to be in the hot seat, if you have an urgent topic or something you just really struggle with, or something you really want to share, make it known beforehand. I think that's a really good idea, right? Just drop it in the Slack and say, hey, tomorrow I think I kind of try to get this topic in. And that helps the others think about it beforehand even, right?
Makes sense, yeah.
That being said, I just shared with all of you a Notion invite, which I would suggest we are using to track this instead of like Google Slides or something. And I'll share my screen real quick. So very simple. If you haven't used Notion before, you'll get right into it, I'm pretty sure. I just created a page for the Getting Shit Done peer group. Steve, you missed it while you were getting shit done. That's the name of the peer group now. And so we can, this is just, it's a very rich kind of markdown editor page if you want. And there's more to it, but if we need any more sections, I have open questions. Like last week, we talked about if we like Timo or not. Turns out we do. And then, we have our weekly commitments. Actually, this is not weekly check. This is now a database. That's a nice thing about Notion. You can just kind of click on new next week, and then you say, I am Justin. Well, actually, I'm not. I'm Sven. Week 1, right? And then you go in here, and I created the template. So first of all, you say who you are. You say which week it is. Well, week 1, not week 2. What are your goals? If they changed, and we can change this, by the way, if you want a different format, but the goals are, I just copied the ones you gave me from last week, and then how you want to build in public. And then you click on weekly commitment, the template, or we could put everything into the template in the text, and then just put in what you're going to do, right? Simple as that. And I filled in all of yours here already. Nice thing is also we can switch the view here into gallery view or table view, or which one makes sense? Maybe board view? No, that's probably structured by the tag then. Yeah, maybe we'll stay at table. It's fine. The default view, right? So actually, I'll adjust this, but I think what makes even more sense if we don't have anything in the body here, and instead have another property with commitment. Oops. And then if we copy this in here as well, no, here, why does it not do that? It's just not going to work, I guess. Anyway, I'll adjust this so that it shows up in the table, and then we can just look at the table and see exactly what you guys were committing to and what you want to do next week. For now, we just have to open them one by one. So, since we were just looking at Steve's, how'd it go last week, Steve?
All right. What was my goal here? Oh, my big goal, my weekly goal.
Right here.
I mean, I just tweeted today about what I had to do. I basically had to fire the developers working on. I basically just canceled whatever I was paying for right now, and I'm just trying to get them to hand over what they've done.
He was supposed to deliver it today, right?
By the 19th, yeah. And I haven't seen in 3 months. Nothing except what I put in front of you guys.
Mhm.
So I'm waiting to get word from whatever account manager was on the project, and I'm in the works of finding someone else right now. Talking to another kid I know. Also looking into someone who's got experience in like machine learning, NLP, and AI, having them look at the project and try to basically consult with me and come up with an implementation plan of where I can implement those technologies into my platform, which I think would be awesome because I would be creating a big moat around my project, and it would allow for bigger development further down. So that's where I'm at right now in terms of the build. I wasn't able to reach out to anyone in terms of a sales aspect. I did post to Hacker News and got a few more signups. No sales or anything, but a few more interested parties. So that's just keeping the momentum going a little bit more. So that just says that I have to buckle down and keep the momentum, keep on that habit of posting in places, and being helpful wherever I can, and while doing that, promoting project. So, and then I'm gonna go. Hopefully, I'll have a better development for my build in public post on Twitter, in terms of finding a good dev to hop on and actually finish what I hope they actually did anything. Hop onto the project and finish it up somewhat. If they do hand the work over by then, I'll also try to have something to show of what they did. And I'm going to stick with to reach out to one startup on that I do have. You know, I have started a pipeline sort of a startup looking for community managers, social media managers, seeing what they would, if they would, you know, find the tool useful for their early community team right now.
Cool.
Sorry to
So-
type all that. Should we be typing that?
Yeah, I just changed my mind while you were talking, but I'm going to restructure this a little bit because I think what would make sense is we just need one of those pages for you guys. And what I suggest is you go in here. Can you still hear me? I think my headphones just...
No, I can hear you.
Okay. Because again, your goal doesn't change as much. Your build in public doesn't change as much. This one we don't need anymore. And then just come in here before this call and do the progress, and then copy this, copy and paste, commitment for week 2, right?
Cool.
And then whatever you want to do, ABC.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Because then we can actually, then I just share and I go wherever you guys tell me to go because you already filled all of this in and we can talk and we don't have to have the structure and me note taking and all of that stuff. Doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, great.
Steve,
So I apologize, guys, but I have to drop early.
Okay.
Well, let's go over yours then real quick, Justin.
Okay, so the good news is, well, what I was hoping to do, which goes back to your earlier point, Sven, about if somebody was excited to share something and then they wouldn't be able to if there was a spontaneous topic, was I came into today thinking that I was going to be able to actually launch and obviously hit all the commitments and have been launched and in the App Store, but unfortunately hit a couple more hurdles. But at least for the commitments there from last week, I did switch out to the new API service. And then also finished out the options calculations. So for next week's commitment will be then to have it fully submitted to the Mac App Store. So that there's a couple of finishing pieces there. Having some issues with notarization and sandboxing, even for as simple as the application is. Apple has to make it so difficult. So I have to find what these issues are and remedies for them, but it shouldn't be anything huge. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple of days, actually, to have it submitted at least to the App Store. And then can move on to more exciting projects.
Okay. Cool. Bye, Justin.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
Fun to
Bye.
be friends.
I look forward to watching the rest for everyone else's update.
Yeah, go to your actual friends now,
Yeah.
would you?
All right, see you guys.
Bye bye.
Okay. Is that format good for you? Do you kind of agree with this? Do you like this kind of how I'm developing it right now on the fly?
Yeah, it's cool. That's simple, clear.
Yeah.
All right. Whoops. Great. So we have BattleBox and Optionator, and then the tags, I'll change all of this. See where Emmy's at.
Oh, that's me. I have my chalkboard behind me. This is my chalkboard that I got from the curb, so it has my goals on it, and they all have check marks. Yeah. I waited until today to make my video. Well, I didn't wait. Okay, I had a migraine for like almost an entire week, which sucked. So today I got to making my video in DaVinci Resolve, and it was a pain in the ass, but I made it. And it'll get easier, I guess. But the project was really fun, and all that. Let's see.
I saw
What
your
else is written down?
I saw your newsletter.
Oh yeah,
Or that was pretty cool.
that was about the skirt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I posted, I think, to my blog. Yeah, it's still, I still would like to have like my blog be more structured, and I'm hoping, so I didn't spend any time this last week working on Notion, which I was really hoping was going to help me get organized and be able to like make sense of my own brain. But so I'm hoping that as I start to do that, I can just be more I literally just lost my train of thought.
Be more organized. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, be more, I mean, yeah, obviously be more organized. What was I talking about?
That's fine. It'll come back to you.
You're looking at for the blog to help you be more organized or
Right.
structured.
Okay. So I want for my blogs to be not just like, hey, here's this YouTube video I made and here's a quick description of what's in it. You know, like I want it to be more structured and like not just be about one project necessarily, and more thoughtful. My blog isn't where to the level I want it to be yet, is basically what I'm trying to say. So that's a future goal.
What's the commitment for week 2, you think?
I think it's mostly the same. 1 video, 2 TikTok clips, even though TikTok is not doing anything yet. And then learning Notion.
Cool.
Yep.
Excellent. Arky.
Okay, so I released, so that's a good news. I tweeted only once instead of twice, so I just kind of have the commitment. But I think moving on, so I guess what I need to do right now is to think hard and decide what's a good project to start, right? I think I see several directions, and I would like to take this week to really just think well into what I want to spend my time on. I think that's important. I think what I've been doing is mostly doing just for the sake of being busy. But I'd like to take a break and think and be convinced about doing something. so that I can really go and go through the commitments with joy instead of just feeling it's a hurdle. So I will.
So you
I'll tweet. So that's the commitment. I will keep my my tweeting commitment about this process.
Right.
And of course,
Yeah.
always in the context of umami, right? I think that means the food, the recipe recommendation.
Yep.
okay? Because I was just wondering if you're not working on your bot anymore, or because
Yeah.
I don't know. Sven is writing there. Find a new project.
Yeah, of course, around to support that idea that I want to recommend recipes, right, or what to cook next.
Okay.
Because I've been through the process of creating a bot, but that no one cared, and it's very hard to use on Instagram. So it's like Instagram bans you from doing anything. And then I went into, okay, maybe I can create a platform on the web, like software as a service, that you submit an Instagram post or a tweet and tells you whether it's a recipe and what type of recipe. And then I need data to label it. So I created this tool that was convenient for me to start labeling data. But now the question is, do I really start labeling data, or do I first come up with something new around this recipe recommendation? I've learned a few things, going back to this thing of Instagram. The bot is working in an unexpected way. Let me tell you how. Every time I have a list of people that subscribe to the bot, right? So every Wednesday, the bot goes and makes these personalized recommendations. Now, people that receive the recommendations don't care at all, but the recipe makers do give the bot a lot of attention. That's the interesting piece. So I also need to think what to do with that insight, because then it could be a way to promote the recipe creators as opposed to just giving recipes to people, right? So
yeah, it's definitely a thing on Instagram, like the bots that repost original content, and it's like you want it's very sought after because they build up this following, and then if they share it to their following, it's like the entire community sees it.
right.
Yeah, so I totally get what you're saying with that, which is interesting.
It is right. I find that interesting, although I don't really know what to do with it and whether like food is the right angle, right? I mean, it could be anything, but I'm really trying to think, to really analyze this thing.
I have an idea. I mean, maybe it's not a good one, but first of all, did Instagram completely block you even from like fetching the recipes and stuff, or can you just not post it?
There is a quota, and I got like
Okay.
a ban. I got banned once.
Okay.
It was a temporary ban. So yeah, they keep an eye on people fetching data. And
okay, I see. Because like when you have a lot of data, especially like recipes, what I personally would find useful, because I'm not much of a cook myself. Sometimes I just have stuff at home, but I don't know what to do with it. Like maybe a platform where I can just put in, these are my ingredients, and then it spits out a recipe. You can do this with it, for example. That would be super cool.
Yeah, that would be right. So another thing I did this week, I tried the Bubble IO. Man, I thought it was easy, right? They advertise it as low code. It's a nightmare. It's it's just yet another environment that you need to learn, and it's super complicated and unintuitive for newcomers. So I abandoned that idea. But I do see what you're saying. That could be like a little app, right? Whatever app means, on the web or on the phone, that you put in your ingredients, and then you get a recipe that at least has 80% of your ingredients, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, for example, yeah.
And also I found alternative sources for recipes. Instead of going to Instagram, I also, the Reddit /recipes, there are lots of recipes, right? So it's like there's a lot of data out there that you could clean up and start recommending. So that's what I'm saying. I probably need to come up with a strategy around it, but
you said chefs were looking at it, like, or something like that. What did you say?
I guess people who create recipes, who actually take the
Okay.
time to describe the ingredients and the process, are content creators, right? Let's call it that way. Now, these guys obviously want followers for whatever reason, like how you call this, the advertisement they get, or just the attention, right? Sponsorships. Now, when the bot picks one of these creators' recipes,
Mhm.
creators care about who comments on their feed. So when they see the bot recommending the recipe, almost always they like the bot's post.
Okay.
And even more so when the end user of the bot comes and says thank you or just likes it, the content creator doesn't follow the bot, but follows the person I recommended the recipe to. Right?
Mm.
They realize that the bot is a bot and that's useless, but the other guy, the real person who's getting the recommendation, if they engage, they get the benefit.
Hmm.
I don't know. Just
What
some
if-
of the patterns that I've noticed.
I mean, what if you sell the bot to them?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
something
Right.
something to help them automate their engagement. You know, I mean,
Right.
that's if that's important to them.
Right. There
Um,
are a few tools and services that do that and kind
Yeah.
of help you grow your Instagram base. They automate a lot of the likes and comments and engagement interactions, but it's an interesting thought because I haven't seen at least anyone really offering a bot that kind of self promotes you, right?
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Like you can input like some data parameters of some sort that describe your niche, and then it'll kind of scour some database somewhere, I don't know, or scrape something, and then pump out a certain amount of recipes like in a week for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, but I guess now maybe really I want to just think about it and so that I can really go full force on the next thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I think
I don't want to start something that I'll get bored on and just not enjoy the process. But I think
Yeah.
now just wait and think and then do.
maybe something for chef to I don't know. I was thinking something chefs can input their recipes, and then they can send that recipe out to multiple platforms. I don't know. That sounds just like a
okay. There are a few things that could be. I also thought kind of like I don't know, like a cooking challenge. I don't know if people would be up for it. Kind of this week is, I don't know, Brussels sprouts, right? It's like,
yeah,
I think they would be very up for that. Actually, I mean, cooking is a huge, let's say, area what people are interested in right now. That's what I figure. I mean, there are a lot of YouTube channels around cooking or Instagram accounts and stuff like that. And like a challenge like this makes it a little bit interesting. I would say it's really cool.
And I guess maybe the guy who launches the challenge, I don't know, gets all the pictures in and kind of votes for the top 3, and then whatever the top guy gets whatever.
I think they're the recipe of the month or something like that.
I think you're overthinking it, guys. All of you right now. Like you're way over engineering it. I think, like, not to be the party pooper here, but I think your only problem right now, Arky, is it just takes time. Like, you're trying to build your audience in social media. It's really hard, right? It's just hard. I think you really just need to stick with it for a little while, and the bigger the audience grows, the more you will see things work. And it's totally gut feeling, but I think you are just playing with a very small sample set right now, which makes it feel like things are not working, even though you just you can't really judge it by that, right? Like, even the initial bot, like the very small sample set interacting with the things you're doing right now is kind of doesn't tell you much yet, I think. You know what I mean? Like, on a social media level, at least.
Right.
If you are diving in with the individuals who are engaging and what they are telling you, that's going to be valuable. But like, challenge, great. Okay, so don't over-engineer the challenge. Just launch a challenge. Let them do the work. Don't do the work for them, right? Like, let's just cook. Let them cook. That's the easiest challenge. Cook your favorite meal tonight. But the problem will be not that they don't know how to cook their favorite meal, is that not enough people are in your audience, so you might not get a single submission. But can you therefore judge that people don't like challenges? Well, probably not.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know, just like kind of comment from the sidelines here. I think patience is going to be your biggest challenge for social media recipe kind of recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think social media in general, patience is the key. For me, it's also growing very slowly, but it starts working. Not in the speed I intended it to work, of course, but yeah, that's what patience is all about, I think.
And I mean, if you say your bots are kind of working, right? Like, do you even have to care why right now? Right? Like, think about it from your business perspective. What are you trying to achieve? Well, one of them is broadening the audience. You don't care why the audience gets bigger, as long as the audience is still the audience you're trying to reach.
Right.
That's true,
But I'm trying to understand the dynamics, right? What makes what are the patterns that the bot is creating that I didn't anticipate? Those I think are interesting. And whether they are exploitable, that's another question. But at least I'm seeing some patterns emerge that I think are interesting, and maybe there is something to it. But you are right; the bot is just there; it's just doing the work, right?
Yeah, and let it, pick up the patterns and replicate them. Like, don't I at least as of now, I wouldn't worry about why that works from a human angle as much as whatever works. See, okay, if I type 1, it works. If I type 0, it doesn't. Then just type 1.
Right.
And then, like, once you have 300 people, then you will see patterns in human behavior, right? I think looking at 10, it's just there's just not enough there, right? Like, it's like, I was kind of taken aback a little bit this morning when cohort 3, someone had to drop out, and I was like, oh crap. But that just happens, right? I can't assume that now 1 out of 5 just doesn't like my cohort. It's just like other circumstance which I can't see. So, and you know this, right? Like, you're a scientist. You need to go by statistics on social media for sure.
That's true.
Yep.
No, but great discussion, guys. Thanks.
Coolio.
So,
Steve, I was wondering. I'm sorry. I kind of
no. Go ahead.
When you were presenting your status currently, you said you struggle with like finding a developer and stuff, right? So what's the technology you're using right now? Because maybe just maybe, I'm not making any promises, but maybe I know some people that can help you. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just building the first version on Bubble, and I think they actually had to do some hybrid coding as well.
Okay, I see.
And I don't know exactly what that is. They had to create like parsers for the different communities that you can integrate in that don't have APIs. So, I'm sure I'm thinking that they bit off more than they could chew, and then it just kind of floundered, I think so. I have to see what they actually did. So yeah, it's Bubble and then probably hybrid actual coding.
Okay, I see. So you're focusing on like how many communities right now? Did you set up a plan for, let's say, like starting with 3 communities or?
Yeah, so it would be Reddit, Indie Hackers, Product Hunt, and there was one more there. 1 second. Yeah, so it's definitely, I think it's 4 right now, and then I wanted to add on eventually like Telegram.
Yeah. So and not all of them have APIs, you said, right?
Indie Hackers. News. That was one.
You're super. How can I say? For me, you cut out a little bit. I cannot understand completely what you're saying. Is it just me
Oh,
or
sorry.
is it for
No,
everyone?
you cut off.
Yeah.
I think my battery's cutting out here. Yeah, so it was Indie Hackers, Product Hunt, Hacker News, and what was the fourth one? Product Hunt, Indie Hackers,
Hacker News.
Hacker News, and Reddit.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So and you said not all of them have APIs, right?
Right. Indie Hackers doesn't, and I think Hacker News didn't really have anything.
Yeah, maybe it would be easier if you first focus on the ones that have an API already.
That's
At
true.
least like from a development side would be better, because like writing a parser is, I mean, it's if you do it well, it should be like very easy, but it can be complex as well.
Okay.
So like it's I don't know, maybe they overdid themselves, like your developers a little bit, so they couldn't really do it, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's yeah,
It is what it is right now.
so easy.
And if you know anybody, yeah, send them my way. We can chat.
Yeah, I can just try to ask some of my friends.
Cool.
If they have experience with it, maybe they have already implemented something, would be even better. I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be awesome, yeah.
So yeah, I'll let you know.
Appreciate
Definitely.
Yeah. So, guys, looking at the time, I probably need to drop soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're over time anyway, but so remember, from now on, you should all have the Notion invite. If you don't, let me know. From now on, I would say we are all expecting everyone to update their own little page there with your commitment and progress, and then we can just open it, look at it real quick, so that we can actually minimize the time we need to look at the slides or this stuff and actually talk, because this was great. Actually, there was a lot of conversation today and helping each other. I think that's, in my opinion, that should be the goal, right? Maximizing that time.
Yeah.
I also think so. I really like getting feedback from you guys, also giving you feedback, of course, if I can.
Yeah.
And it's nice talking about like every project equally. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Guys, see you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Talk to you
All
soon.
right.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.